You all can see my screen. So the other day we were talking about classes and methods, right? So that's exactly what we have to do here. We have to create a class. We have to define the methods inside the class, and the class will be called on the Visualforce page as the controller. Now we are not going to use the standard controller. We are going to use custom controller. So custom controller means we define the controller, we write the logic, we write the program. Now when we are writing the program, we have to write it somewhere. Where are we going to write it? We are going to write it as a class. Okay. So you create the class and then you define the methods in the class, variables and methods, whatever are required. You call the class on the Visualforce page as a custom controller. And then within the page, you call the methods. Okay, that's exactly what we have done with standard controller. The only difference is that in standard controller, you did not create the class, it was already existing, right? Here, you are the one who is creating the class. That's the only difference. The rest, everything remains same. Okay, so let's get started. Where do you create a class? You create a class under setup, develop, Apex classes. Click on new. Public class, give it any name. Then let me define a variable here, string hello equals okay, and I define a method here. Okay, so what I've done here is I've created a class. So while you create the class, there's a very simple syntax for creating the class. You have to for creating a class, you have to use the keyword class and give the class name. So this is pretty simple. You have to make a class public, which needs to be called as a controller. Okay, so any class which you want to call as a controller. So public means basically this class is available for to be called outside also. That's what public means. If you make a class private, there's another option of making a class private, but the point is anything which is private can be called only within this class. It cannot be called outside this. So that's the reason. So whenever I'm creating a class to be used as a custom controller, obviously I'll have to call it from the Visualforce page, which means it always has to be public. So while you're creating a Visualforce page controller, this should be public class. Then use the keyword class and class name. This is class name. You can give it anything. Okay. Don't use special characters and spaces. You can put any name. Any combination of characters and numbers is fine. Okay. Then I defined a variable. So this is pretty simple. You understand what defining a variable is. What is this method doing? This is the method. Okay. All right. This method has also been made public. Why? Again, because I need to call this method outside this class. So I'll need to call this method from the Visualforce page. So that's the reason why the method has also been defined as public. Okay. And now There's a small thing that I want you to understand. There are two types of methods primarily. Okay, when you're defining method, there are two types of methods. There will be a method which will return something, and there will be a method which will not return something. Got it? Some methods return a value, some methods do not return any value. Like you want to call a method, and that method will give you some result or someone's name or someone's email ID. Okay. The other method can be something which performs a task, but it does not give you any result or output. Okay. Like you define a method which will actually go and delete 4 records in the database, but it will not return anything. It's just going and performing some action in the database, but it's not returning anything. Or you can define a method which just sends some emails, but it does not return anything, right? There is another method which can return something. Okay, for example, you call that method and it gives you the name of the company which has maximum revenue. Okay, so this is a method. The other one is also a method, but sometimes your method needs to return something to the end user. Sometimes your method does not return anything. Okay, so that's the logic. So there are two types of methods. One will be void methods, okay, and one will be non-void methods. Void methods would not return anything. Non-void methods will return some value. Okay, now while you're defining void method, you will usually define void method this way. You will say public void. Okay, and then the method name, whatever method name, m1 m2 whatever you want. Okay, whereas non-void method should be defined like public. Now this is not void, right? Non-void means it's going to return something. So in case of a non-void method, you should put the data type. What is the data type of the return value? What data type is it going to return? So that data type needs to be defined here, so that the system understands that, oh, this method has to return a string um, or an account or whatever data type or an integer. So what exactly this method is going to return? So if I write public string and then I put the method name, then which it means that it's a non-void method which will return string, correct? Or if I define it like this, public integer, then it's a method which is going to return integer. Got it? So in this case, basically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to display this value on the Visualforce page. That's a simple thing which I am trying to do. So I've defined a variable. I want to display it on the Visualforce page. That's my objective. Now to achieve that, I have defined a method because I cannot call the variable directly on the Visualforce page. I told you the other day, you cannot do anything with the variables only. You always have to use a method for it. So whenever you want to call it, you cannot call a variable outside this class. You have to call it through the method. Okay. So I am defining a method which will return the value of this string. That's what I'm doing. Nothing else. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to return me the value of hello. Hello is the string that I've defined. That's it. Okay. So because it is defining hello, sorry, because it is returning hello, this method is going to return hello. What is the data type of hello? What is the data type?
String.
What is that?
String.
And that's what I have defined here. Correct. So got the connection. If your method is returning anything, whatever it is returning, whatever you are trying to return, the data type of that variable should be written here. So you have to define what data type your method is supposed to return. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So if you want to return hello, just take the data type of that. Okay. So had it been an integer instead of this, you should have written an integer there. Let's say I also want to define an integer x equals 25. Now I just want to return 25 on the Visualforce page. Then what should I write? Public integer return x. All right. Okay. So are we clear on this? The return type thing, how we are defining a method? Everyone is okay with this? Okay. So
Jeet,
yeah,
uh, what is get hello meaning? What is get?
that part I'm gonna come into, but I'm just asking, are we clear on this part? Why did we write
Okay,
here? Yeah.
yeah,
Can,
clear.
can can we return two variable under one method?
Can you? Sorry.
Can we return two variable under one method?
No. Okay. Now, now we have seen that your method will one either return something or it will not return anything. So either it will be void or it will be non-void. Okay. So that part we have understood. Now you will use method for, while we are working on Visualforce, we will use them for three primary reasons. Okay. So while we are talking about Visualforce pages, we use the methods for three primary things. Okay. Three types of methods based on their usage. These are two types of methods based on return type. Okay. So three types of methods based on usage. What? Okay. When you are defining methods, we are talking about Visualforce pages now. So when you create a method for Visualforce pages, you can have three objectives. One, you want to display some value on the page. Okay. So from the program, you want to take some value and display it on the page. The one that we want to do in this case, I want to display the value from the program. There is something in the program, you want to put it on the page. Okay, so this is one type of a method. For example, if this is your user interface and if this is your class, one is you want to display things here. Okay, second is you want to take some value from the user interface and pass it on to the program. That's another kind of a method, right? This first is take the value from the program, display it on the user interface. Second is take the value from the page and pass it on to the program. Okay, so input output kind of thing. And one more method can be referring from one page to the other page. Okay, sometimes you might want to click on a button which can take you to other page, right? So these three primary types of methods are there which we will be using. One is a get method. Okay. The get method is from to take value from controller to page or UI. Okay. So this part will be done with the get method. Get method will take the value, get the value from the class from your program and display it on the page. That's a get method. There is set method. Set method will take the value from the page and pass it on to the program. Page or UI to controller. Okay. And then we will be using one more, which is called a page reference method. Page reference is from one page to other page. Okay. From page to page. Got it? So the page reference method is going to be used if you want to navigate from one page to some other page, or if you want to refresh the page, these kind of things. Okay. So primarily there are these three types of methods which we are going to use. One is the get method. Get method will help you get the value from the program and display it on the page, right? Uh, then you will have the set method, and then you will have the page reference method. Got it? Okay. Now, in this case, what are we trying to do? We are trying to display the value of this variable on the page. So that's the reason why we have used a get method. Okay. So that's the reason why I'm using a get method. So when you're using a get method, what you have to do, you have to use the keyword get, and after that you can put the method name. Okay. So this get hello has two parts, keyword and the method name. Got it? So method name can be anything. It does not have to be hello only. It can be anything. It can be M1. Now when you call it on the page, you'll have to call M1. All right. So whatever method name you define, you have to call the same method name on the page. Okay. And you can make it M2. Why am I using get method? Just for the system to understand that I want to use this method to display the value on the page. Okay. Only get methods can be called on the Visualforce page to display the value. Correct. Okay. So the methods are ready. Uh, Class is there, method is there. So all that I need to do is save it and then go to the Visualforce page and create the Visualforce page. So my class is there with two methods. Okay. Now let's create the Visualforce page. Slash. Okay. This time you will call the controller as controller because it's not standard controller anymore. So you'll have to call it as controller, and you will define the name of the class. I want to call C1 as a controller. So all that you have to do is you just have to write C1. Okay. So you've called the controller. Now all that you have to do is call the method like this. See, method name is M1. Okay. What should it do? It should return hello. What's the value of hello? Okay. On the page, when I call M1, what do I see? Fine. What will I see if I call M2? If I call the method M2 here, then what will I see? Anyone?
Integer 25.
25. Let's see if that's correct. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Okay, so this get method is used for taking the value from the controller and displaying it on the Visualforce page. As simple as that. Fine. Okay. Now get methods always have to be non-void methods. You cannot have a get method as void, because get method always has to have some return type, what it wants to return on the page, right? So it's always going to be a non-void method. Okay. So let me do one more example. Let's go ahead and create one more class. Public class C2. Okay. Now let's display a list of records here. List of account. Write a SQL query here. Select name, type, industry, for facts from account. Okay. So my variable is list of account. Right now we are dealing with this object variable. So I would just want to display the list of accounts. So how do we do that? Public. Now I want to define a get method to return this value on the page. What will be the return type, data type of the return value?
List account.
Absolutely correct. And then get, and whatever method name you want to put, ABCD. Uh, it should return this. That's it. Save it. Now I want
Actually, I had
to
a question. Should it be get?
just 1 minute. Let us finish
Sorry.
this one. Okay. Now I have to call this on the Visualforce page, right? So this uh, list of accounts needs to be called on the Visualforce page. Okay. So to call, what will I need to do? I need to use this method, right? I need to call this method. But there's a small thing that we need to understand. Because it's a list of records, do we need any special component to display this list? What component do we use for displaying list of records? Multiple records?
Page,
What do we use? Sorry.
framework, column to show.
Page block table. Yes. So this time you'll have to call this. See, you have to see whatever return type you have, whatever value you are trying to return, you have to also make arrangement for that variable to be returned on the Visualforce page. So every time you cannot just go and call the method. You also have to see that the component that you are using is compatible with the value which you are actually trying to display. Got it? If I'm trying to display 50 records, then I should make space for 50 records in the component, right? So whatever value I'm trying to display. So in this case, it's list of records. So I will have to use the page block table component. How would we do that? It's pretty simple. Let's go and create a page. In this case, controller. Okay. Did we save this? You always have to save it. Yeah, save it. Controller equals C2 apex page block. So remaining everything is same, just that the variable name is going to change here. Page block table is what we want. Okay. Here the value is going to be this. A1 is going to give me this list of records, right? Which goes into page block table value. So A1 needs to be defined here. That's it. Where can be A, and then you can have the same apex column value A dot name type industry phone. Save it. Okay. So this is a custom list that you have created. So in this component, page block table component, where do you need to call the variable? This is value. So this is where you need to return the list of accounts, right? So that's it. Yeah. Let me know if anyone has a question here.
Going back to the Apex class that we used, the Apex class, we named this as get A1. In the previous example, we used ACT where we've written list. In the previous page, Jeet,
Hmm.
in the Apex class where you've written A1,
Previous
if you see,
class. Yeah.
yeah, over here where you've written A1, this does not need to correspond with the ACTS on top.
Sorry, I cannot understand. Tell me again. What is?
Okay, I'm going to say that again. When it says list account, second line, line 3, list account ACTS, right? You've put, yeah, this and the get method that does not need to correspond with each other. You could give get method a new name.
Where do you find the same name? Is it same?
I mean, in the previous one we had match, so I thought maybe these two need to be same when you write the code.
Where have I written same name? How did you think even? A1 and
No,
A2, these are two different things. There is no connection, no relation. No,
so when
they
you
don't have to
put
be
this,
same. They don't have to be same. They can be anything. What's your name? Sorry,
okay,
I did not get your name. What's your name?
Priya,
Okay. Okay. You can say get Priya here, and but the thing is whatever you are defining here needs to be called here. So there here also you should be calling Priya. So there has to be no similarity. Fine.
Okay.
But the point is that usually, again, first of all, let me tell all of you what she was asking. She was asking that do we need to have any similarity between these two names? Obviously, no, because we do not have that. But in some programs written, or you also, after a certain point of time, you will start using this and this as the same name, just for the ease of use, right? So that you don't have too many names, scattered here and there. And you will see in some programs also, so which has been written by someone else, but it is not required. It's a method, it's different thing, and this is a variable, it's a different thing. Fine. So they are not going to be same, or they don't need to be same. We name them saying sometimes, you also will start doing it after some days, just for your convenience, because you'll have to otherwise remember too many things, that oh, variable name is this, the method that calls this variable is this. So method name and variable name, if kept same, that makes things easier for you, but not required. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Any other doubt? Anyone? We are good. So how we are actually displaying a list of records? Okay. Now in this case, my list of accounts is select name, type, industry. Whatever you want to display on the page, that field should be queried. So you should write that field in the query. Okay. Which means now you can only call these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. These 5 fields on the Visualforce page. Okay. Now we can call only these 5 fields on the Visualforce page. If you want to call any other field apart from these, you will not be able to call it. Okay. Only these fields can be called. So the other way of saying that will be that whatever fields you want to display on the Visualforce page, define those fields in the query. Okay, as simple as that. Now I have defined from here. Okay. Now let me put a where clause here. I would say where equals. Okay. Now it will show you only the records which meet this criteria. So the type is equals customer channel. Alright, save it. Come to the Visualforce page. We don't have to change anything in the Visualforce page because the variable itself has changed. Alright. You see this? List of records. Only the records where type is customer channel are being displayed.
Jit, we can put star in select clause, no?
Wildcard. Wild characters. Asterisk is what you're saying?
Select string. In select clause, we can put star na for selecting all the columns.
Somehow not able to hear very clearly. Yeah, I can hear, we can take a star. Where exactly? On the code in the query. You want to repeat the question? Anyone who could understand the question? Yeah, yeah, that can. No, you cannot use select star. Okay. So she's saying, can we use this instead of writing the names? No, you cannot use select asterisk. You have to define the field names. All right. You have to be specific about fields. Okay. So now I have defined one variable which actually displays list of customer channel records. Now the same way what I can do is I can also have another variable which can display select name facts from command type equals it can be accounts too. Okay, so I have two variables, accounts and accounts too. Now I will define one more method, list of accounts, get a2, this should return accounts too. Okay, so now I have two variables and two get methods, one for returning this and the other one for returning this, right? I might want to create two different tables also. Text page block table, a2, where can be anything, it can be a again, see. First table displays all the records with customer channel. The second table displays all the records with customer direct. So here you have the control, which we did not have in case of standard controller. Here you have the control. You control what you want to display on which page, right? The way you want to control, the logics that you want to write, where clause you want to write, everything you can write. The fields that you want to display, you have the control on everything. Right? Okay. So this is how you use a get method. So get method is pretty simple. You will have a variable that you want to display on the Visualforce page. You just have to use a get method and say return variable name. That's how a get method works. Okay, we have seen it for primitive, we have seen it for S object, and how do we use it. Now let me also show you the page reference method. We will talk about set method, but a little later. So I want you to actually understand get method a little more before we get into set method. Now let's understand the page reference method. Okay, the page reference is very simple. All that you have to do is you define it like this: public page reference. For a page reference method, the return type is going to be page reference. Okay, so you just define public page reference, name of the method, whatever name you want. Return page dot v13. Not v13, it's page 13. Okay, so what do you think this method is going to do? What do you think this method is going to do? Anyone? Any idea? No? No guesses? This method is going to do what? It will take you to page 13. This particular method. Currently you are on page 14, right? If you call that method from page 14, it will take you to page 13. That's it. So it's actually reference to a page. As simple as that. This method will take you to page 13 or whichever page you want to move to. Got it? So this is gonna take me to page number 30. And how will I call this method? This page reference method can be used with the uh, command button. So let me put a command button here. Yes, command button value can be go to page 13 action name of the method. That's it. Now this is your custom defined action. Save it. Must be in form tags. Fx form. Go to page 13. See, it takes you to page number 13. Got it? So instead of page 13, if you write page number 12 here or page number 10 here, it's going to take you to page number 10. That's what this method is going to do. So page reference can take the reference of a page and move you to that particular page. Got it? So this page method, as we said, as we were discussing, you can also call it action methods. Action or page reference. Okay. So three types of method: get method, set method, action or page reference method. So this is how you use an action method. So it's actually performing an action. It's taking you from that page to the other page. Clear? Let me know if anyone has a question or doubt here. So pretty simple, public, because it needs to be called from the Visualforce page. Page reference is the return type here. It always will be like this. And this is going to be the method name. It can be anything, whatever you want to put the method name. And then the return page dot page name, the one that you want to return to. Okay. Just one quick thing. Okay. In Apex, this is commenting. This is commenting out. So I have commented out this line. Now, instead of this, if I write return null, then what do you think it's gonna do? When I say return page dot page 13, then it takes you to page number 13, that particular Visualforce page. Instead of that, if I say return null, then what do you think it's gonna do?
Is still same page?
Sorry?
Will that stay same page?
Yes, it will
Page
stay on the
current page.
same page, on the current page, right? Because you have not defined any other location. But when you call this method, it will reload the same page. Okay, it will reload the same page. Got it? So return null will reload or refresh the same page. Though it stays on the same page, but it re-renders the same page. Because action has to do something, right? So it is actually going to refresh the same page. So when you want to do a refresh or re-render, use this. When you want to move to some other page, use this. As simple as that. I will comment out this one. Keep this active as it is. Okay. All right. So here is the code in case you guys want to take a screenshot of this. We'll do a few more examples tomorrow. Here is the code for today. Quickly take a screenshot. This is C2. This is the Visualforce for C2 for the second controller. This is the Visualforce page in case you need it. All right. Um, there was P. Okay, this is the other one. The class name is going to be okay. Clear? All right. Okay, so that's it. We are going to meet tomorrow, same time, and we are going to do a few more examples with the page reference and the other method, get method, right? Okay, guys, see you tomorrow, same time. Thanks.